Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, the wonderful Misty Morrison, and this is episode 16 of Was I in the Wrong? Let's get right on into the stories. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/Am I the Asshole? AITA for laughing at my stepson and ruining his wedding. Throwaway, shortened for character count. For context, I have been married to my husband for just over 20 years. We started dating when my stepkids were 5 and 3. Our kids are Adam, 28, stepkid number 1, Ben, 26, stepkid number 2, Charles, 20, David, 17, and Ellie, 13. Adam is getting married at the end of summer to his fiancée Alice, 27. We have all been very excited for them. All of the kids have roles for the wedding. Charles is a best man, the other 2 boys are groomsmen, and Ellie is a junior bridesmaid. Last weekend, we had a dinner for my husband's birthday. All the kids attended along with Alice. The topic of the wedding came up again, and this is where it started to go downhill. Ellie brought up that she was so excited to go dress shopping and that we planned to go to a bigger city in a few weeks to get her a dress and me a stepmom of the groom dress. At that, Alice looked at Adam sideways and responded that we only needed to worry about one dress, Ellie's. Ellie kind of laughed and said, "What are you expecting Mom to wear, a suit?" Alice responded with, "My name isn't going." You know we are keeping our guest list very limited to only family and a few close friends. What? Adam and Alice have been to our house numerous times for holidays, dinners, just to say hi since they've been engaged. This has never been brought up. Pretty quickly, things escalated. The Cliff Notes version is that Charles asked them to clarify if they were choosing to uninvite me now, or if I was never invited. Alice confirmed the latter. Why? Adam said it's because I'm not his mom. Charles, David, and Ellie argued with Adam and Alice that none of them were going to go if I wasn't invited. That it was cruel to leave me out given I've been his parent for a majority of his life and loved him like my own. My husband and I admittedly sat there for a minute, just effing shocked. Adam finally turned to my husband and said, "Well?" My husband told him he wouldn't be going either. Adam then turned to me and asked if I was really going to let everyone ruin his wedding on my behalf. Here's where I might be the asshole. I just laughed. I don't know what came over me, but the entire thing was just so ridiculous that laughing was the only thing I could get out. I told my husband I'd be waiting in the car and left, and then promptly bawled my eyes out. Anyways, Charles, David, and Ellie are not talking to Adam. Adam called my husband yesterday to try and smooth things over. He was still adamant I'm not invited, and it's their wedding. He also requested I apologize for laughing at him. My husband told him tough shit. It's their wedding and they can invite whoever they want, but they can't control who will actually go. He said they owe me an apology and that Adam should be ashamed of himself. I'm getting texts now asking WTF I did and why I'm being a quote-unquote step monster and ruining the wedding. AITA? There is an update linked. But before we get to the update, I just want to say how proud I am of this husband and the rest of the family too, for immediately and unquestioningly backing the stepmom. It's absolutely bizarre to me that they actually said we're only inviting family and close friends without realizing like what they were saying in that. They literally said, you raised him for the majority of his life. You were his parent for most of his life, but you're not family. Your husband is. Your children are, but you're not. Ooh, I don't know. I wonder, I really want to know if Adam always felt this way or if Alice is just one of those. So let's read the update before we go on. Update, AITA for laughing at my stepson and ruining his wedding. Oh, and before we go on to answer the question, no, OP, you are not the asshole. You are right. What they said was so ridiculous. Laughing was probably the nicest thing you could have done. Hi, Reddit friends. My update was taken down by AITA for not having a good enough conclusion, but I do have an update. Oh. I had to condense it a lot for AITA, but I'm going to just copy and paste it here. Thank you to everyone who responded to my post. Most of you were kind and offered good advice. I appreciate it. Before I give an update, I just want to answer a few frequently asked questions. 1. I am not an affair partner. My husband did not cheat on his ex-wife with me. We met about a year after they divorced. She was already engaged, not to her current stepdad. Not that that really matters. 2. Ben was at the dinner. He's autistic. I went into it more in some of my comments, but he was very upset. He doesn't understand what the argument was exactly about, but he was mostly upset at Adam for saying I'm not their parent, and then at all the siblings for fighting with each other. Anyways, the update. The short is, if you guessed it was related to Biomom, you were correct. I didn't want this to be the case. Adam rescheduled with Charles for Monday. I never even considered Biomom getting in the way when this man is old enough to get married. Adam rescheduled with Charles for Monday, citing Easter weekend. Fair enough. He also texted my husband to let him know that him and Alice will be doing Easter with her parents. We expected that. At some point on Sunday, Ellie texted Alice. I'm not sure what exactly was said, but it prompted Alice to spill everything that was going on with her parents. I have met them a few times, but they live a few hours away. They encouraged her and Adam to reach out to us to clear everything up. Monday, we dropped Ben off to Biomom's. He stayed an extra night for Easter fun. A few hours later, she began to blow up my husband's phone as Ben mentioned the fight. My husband answered one call in which she was screaming and promptly hung up. He texted her that the siblings argued, everything is fine, and that if Ben has any further questions, we will talk about it when he's back with us. From some of the things she texted, we knew she was the root of all this. Monday, Adam also met up with Charles, and he did come clean. Charles texted us to see if it was okay if they came over after, and we said yes. I'm not going to lie, Adam looked a mess. He immediately began crying and apologizing. The short and sweet is that he's been trying to mend bridges with Biomom. Their wedding isn't 60 people, it's blown up to double that. And they have been struggling to figure out how to pay for it. At one of their visits, Alice let it slip and Biomom jumped to help pay for things. It slowly snowballed from there, from small requests to big requests. I'm not sure what the final nail in the coffin was, but it ended with Biomom requesting I not be there. Adam said it was easier to hurt me and risk World War III. Adam said it was easier to hurt me than risk World War III with his mom. Alice's parents were less than pleased to find out how they've been with the wedding and budget, and even less so at Biomom's antics. They are trying to figure out how to start covering the payments Biomom has made. We've decided to help with some of this. Adam also asked if we could meet again in a few days with Alice, and we've said yes. There is still a lot of ground to cover for this to be close to mended. I am still hurt, but mostly I'm angry on behalf of my oldest son. Aww. I'm so glad we got this update before I recorded. Yeah. I'm really proud of you for being a big enough person to realize what happened, realize they were manipulated, and that they didn't see a way out of the situation. That you're willing to be the bigger person and say, I understand what happened, that it wasn't really, that it was, the idea didn't truly come from you. You were just doing what you felt like you had to do. And you're still on his side because he was manipulated. I do hate that he basically thought it was easier to hurt you and chose money instead. Because, I mean, sure, things can snowball when you start looking at who to invite. Like, oh, if I don't invite this person, they're going to be hurt. If I don't invite them, then this other person's going to be hurt and they're not going to come. I can see how things could snowball. But, like, if you know you have a budget for 60 people, to go ahead and double it is crazy. And especially, like, if you're just trying to mend fences with Biomom, and she all of a sudden is like, oh my gosh, I'll pay for things. That should never have been trusted. Yes, I mean, it's a nice little silver lining. It's something shiny you really want to grab at really fast. But as soon as she started making requests and it got worse and worse, you should have pulled the plug. You know, not say that you don't still want to mend fences with Biomom, but he should have said, hey, I appreciate your offer, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but we really want to make sure that we are making all the decisions for our own wedding, so we're not going to accept any financial help from you. And like, if that was the case, if they still wanted to have the bigger wedding and they were willing to accept help, they should have immediately gone to Alice's parents and you guys to ask for help to be able to do what they wanted to do before they had to shrink the wedding back. Like accepting help that was offered from someone you don't trust is wild to me. Very wild. And I also want to know more about Alice because I feel like she just was a doormat at first to let him go into this. Like, if she didn't already have a problem with you guys, the fact that she knew everything that was going on and never said anything and let it happen, I feel like she should have been more involved with him and his relationships and how the wedding goes in that. Very curious. And especially the way that they brought it up in the initial post. Oh, well, you only have to worry about a dress for Ellie because your mom's not going. Rude. So rude. And just like the harshest way they could have ever told you without telling you that you're not invited. I'm really glad with this update to hear that you figured out where the problem was and everyone who is in the bride and groom's corner is working to help fix this, to help be the solution to the problem. Really glad to see this is working out. Thank you, OP, for the update. You are right. And I hope with the help of their village that everything in this wedding goes off without a hitch. The update is from 6 days ago when I'm recording this, so I'm sure the wedding hasn't happened yet. Maybe we'll get updates later on. If you do want to check for updates, the user is u/afraid_mammoth_5574. And I'll link both the original post and the update in the story notes. All right. That was a long one, but that was a good one. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITA_WIBTA_public. AITA for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat. Initial reaction, it's just a seat and I don't see what the big deal is. So let's get the details. AITA for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat as a joke. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt, 27 male, for almost 2 years. His family is very close, and his mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make a big deal out of it, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time. And she's made passive-aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl. Even though we've been together for a while and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up, got him a gift I knew he'd love, and was honestly looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke about how I always need to be next to Matt and said, let's see how you handle a little separation. Then she literally stood up, looked at me, and said, scooch, sweetie, motioning for me to move down a seat so she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. I was so stunned, I just quietly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes, I sat there, feeling small and humiliated, while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, actually, I think I'm going to head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt. And I left. Matt blew up my phone later saying I completely overreacted, embarrassing him in front of his family and can't take a joke. His mom texted me a sorry you were so sensitive message, which just made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner. So now I'm second guessing everything. AITA. Ooh. We might check out a comment or two to see what other people said. This one doesn't have an official verdict on it. Oh, okay. Are you the asshole for leaving based on what happened? No. Like, you have every right to leave if you feel uncomfortable. But I'm trying to put myself in those shoes, and I don't immediately know, without giving it much thought, how I would have reacted. I mean, I probably would have also been like you and just stunned and did what was asked quietly. But I feel like once, and like, I see what happened. You sat there and you stewed on it and you realized what was going on and you stood up for yourself. By getting up and leaving, you stood up for yourself. You said, I'm not going to tolerate this. And that's fair. But from Matt's reaction, that seems like this might be a deal breaker for him. Like, he doesn't see anything wrong with his mom's possessiveness and like the way that his family is. He's used to it. So if this isn't something that you're willing to tolerate long term, this might just have to be it. But it doesn't sound like you guys have had a conversation yet. I think it would be fair for you to apologize for making a rash, like, if you want to, if you feel like that's like an apology is the only way that you'll get to have a conversation, you know, you can apologize to him for making a rash decision or for, you know, making him uncomfortable on his birthday. His mom doesn't deserve shit. Like, her sorry you were so sensitive was just like an additional slap in the face. I don't think getting up and leaving was wrong, because I don't think it was just a joke. I think she was pushing you over, and if you would have stayed and just like gone through the rest of that dinner like being second to her, that would have set the precedent for, you know, no matter how long you guys are together, you come after her. And I feel like when you get to the stage where you're in those long-term relationships, especially like once you look at getting married, the partner, spouse, wife, whoever is that significant other, is the person who should come first. Parents after. And like, that's an adjustment. And clearly his mom hasn't made that adjustment yet, but she also made it very clear that she doesn't intend to. So I don't think you're the asshole, but I am going to call this situation a mess. I think you probably could have handled it better, but Matt and his mom also were not right in this situation either. So it's a mess, but you definitely were not an asshole. Let's see. And the first comment on it is one of the gold box comments that says, not the asshole. That's what your entire future with him and his mother will look like. And the next one says, mama's boys are the worst partners. And yeah, that's what this gives off, is mama's boy, and he's not going to let anybody replace her. Not yet, anyway. All right, story 3 is coming to us from r/AIO. Am I overreacting to finding out my boyfriend's sister wasn't his sister? No initial reaction. I feel like for the AIO post, it's hard to give a reaction because just off the title, because I don't yet know how you reacted. As of today, I am very upset and rethinking my entire 3 years relationship. But a part of me is also wondering if the situation wasn't that serious. So Reddit, I'll let you be the judge of that. You've given good advice before. Trust you'll do it again. For the entire 3 years, my boyfriend, whom we'll call Dustin, has had his sister, who we'll call Kay. Dustin and Kay have always been close. Kay always comes over here and hangs out with Dustin. Dustin, not me. In fact, I'm convinced she hates me. But more on that in a moment. Anyways, Kay and Dustin always go over to each other's houses, go out to dinner, and once even went on vacation without me. Every single time Kay is around, she acts like I don't exist. I talk to her, she ignores me. She and Dustin hang out. I am quite literally a third wheel. Now, I never complained because I always thought it's his sister, family comes first. Dustin at one point even canceled our date plans to go bowling with Kay. Yes, without me. I decided to visit the old neighbor lady whom I help with yard work. And I'm telling her about Kay. Mind you, this lady has lived in this town since she was born. She knows everybody. Usually, I didn't confide in her about my life, but today was a bad day, and I needed someone. I tell her about Kay, and as I'm describing her, the lady cuts me off and says, That's not his sister. She said that Kay is her co-worker's daughter and has no siblings. She has met Kay several times and is very close friends with the co-worker. Dustin came home to his bags packed at the door. I kicked him out and told him we were done. Dustin went on and on about how Kay is his best friend, he just didn't want to lose her, all this and that and a third. The thing is, Kay and Dustin really did seem like a brother-sister type. Aside from spending almost every day together, I never thought that anything romantic or sexual was happening between them, but I still found it very unacceptable. Now, I am being slammed by Dustin and his family saying I am way overreacting, need to talk it out, etc. So Reddit, what do you think? Am I overreacting? I forgot to add, Dustin's parents are dead, and he rarely speaks to the rest of the family, he says. Yet now they are coming after me, so I'm wondering if that was also a lie. There's an update, but before we get to the update, I'll give my thoughts. I'm really glad that you're not falling into the sunken time fallacy because you guys have been together, I think it said for 3 years. I don't think you're overreacting. You don't, when like he started your relationship on the lie that this girl he's so close with is a sister, you don't owe him anything, least of all your loyalty, because he's been lying to you the whole time. And if he didn't feel like it was wrong for him to maintain this relationship when he was in a relationship with you, he wouldn't have lied and said she was his sister. Yeah. There's something fishy here, and he knows it, or he wouldn't have lied. Let's read the update. Update. Hello, Reddit. I want to start off by saying thank you all so much for your support and opinions. I have done some investigating. Turns out Dustin lied about everything. His mom is alive, but he has no contact with her. She ran away to Brazil and left his grandmother to take care of him. His grandmother is deceased, however. He still talks to 3 of his aunts, 2 uncles, and has several cousins. I feel so stupid. I wasn't willing to question or push boundaries or pay attention to the red flags. Lesson learned. I went over to Dustin's house to grab the rest of my belongings, and guess who's there? And guess what the living room is full of? Moving boxes! Guess I didn't take too long to get over. Kay is his new girlfriend now, and according to him, he's happier with her than me, so good for him. His dumbass left me there while he went to pick her up from work. I bet he got a nice glittery surprise when he turned his ceiling fans on. Hope he has fun trying to get glitter out of his carpets and shoes and bathtub. I'm done and ready to move on. Thanks again for all your support. You guys are amazing. I love you, Reddit. I think that's a happy ending. I'm so glad you did the digging and that you trusted your instincts when you realized he was probably lying about everything. So glad you trusted yourself. I mean, I'm glad you're done, but I'm also glad you got your little petty revenge before you left. Because that was dumb to just leave you there. Like, he had to know you were mad. And I mean, all you did was glitter. It's annoying. It doesn't hurt anyone. So, yeah, I'm glad you left. And I do hope you will ask more questions and be more, not necessarily more suspicious, but get more details and do your own investigating in your next relationship just to make sure everything's on the up and up. But I think after this one, you will be paying attention to any red flags next time. So good luck out there, OP. And there is a yellow box comment first thing. It says, no, leave him. He prioritized a different girl over you so many times, lied to your face, let her walk all over you, and overall didn't seem to give a F about you at all. Leave him for good. And yeah, that's completely true. Like, he literally, I don't know why he was with you when he clearly wanted her the whole time. And as soon as you left, he got her. So I don't know why he didn't just leave to start with. But you did not overreact. I'm glad you trusted your instincts. All right. That is us done for the day. We had 3 stories for this episode of Was I in the Wrong? Thank you for being here. If you are listening on podcast, leave a 5-star review to help the channel grow. Share it with a friend. If you are watching on YouTube, like the video, comment down below with your thoughts on these 3 great stories. Let me know what you think. share it with a friend, subscribe for more. I will see you next time for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Bye.